Yo, 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 yo. What's popping? We are here. I try and find a different way to do it each time. That one didn't suit me. I shan't be doing that again. Yes, we're back. It's another fans war. We moved it. We thought, give you a day off on Wednesday. You probably had enough for us for a bit, especially after Shaban. Didn't want to be doing the after the Lord Mayor's show there. So we had a little night off. We're coming on the Thursday because we've got a little bit of a break before we get into the week that is Old Trafford week, where we get to build up towards an absolutely cracker of a game, we hope, against Aston Villa. But before then, well, we've got quite a bit to get through today. And as you can see, I have got three fine young gentlemen here who have joined us this evening. Really, just have a little bit of a chat about what's the difference between those two big games that we have just played. So if you're around, get yourself in the comments. And if you're watching this on catch up, then fantastic. Also, like and subscribe, boys and girls. Like and subscribe. We are on the countdown to a grand. Not money, people. And we would like to have those people. Because it'd be nice to get to 1,000 before Christmas. What a lovely present that would be for the man I call Boss. So there we go. That'll be all good. Anyway, John, how you doing? You good?
Yes, thanks, Barry. Yeah, great. Thank you. Still buzzing from the weekend.
Oh, I think we all are, really, aren't we? It was quite special. Quite special in a way. Not having a game this weekend is quite nice because it just gives us the chance to just hold on to it just that little bit longer. Shane, of course, you were there. How are you feeling now?
Yeah, I'd echo what John said. I think it's still like what you said there, Barry. It's one of them. You don't really want the feeling to go away because it was so good, but we've got more games coming up, so let's try and just repeat it. Maybe a bit easier on the scoreline this time, but yeah, let's keep the wins coming.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. And of course, we have Yehuda here as well. He's managed to get himself in across the airwaves. How are you doing, sir?
Excellent. I would actually rather to have a game this weekend after the last one. I would really like to have this weekend another one to keep the momentum and keep the enthusiasm.
Fair enough. Well, there you go. You see, fair point that. Absolutely, the momentum would be a good shout indeed. I fully agree with you. So, yeah, that is a good point as well. So, it's a tricky one. You want to keep the feeling, but by the same token, absolutely, you want that feeling to help them as well. And indeed, we do wish a happy Thanksgiving to all of our American friends. Today would be, wouldn't it? 'Cause it is on the Thursday, not necessarily on the 25th. So, enjoy your turkey and your yams. Welcome, Sang. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Debs and Mark. Lovely to see you there. And Sarah and Max. And no, because if it was, that would be a bit pointless coming in, wouldn't it? So
it's great to come on the show, Barry. I'll see you again soon, mate.
Exactly right. Cheers for coming, Mark. Just finished it all off for us. So, listen, absolutely, the score is the main difference, and we're going to get straight into it because, I mean, obviously, John, there was only really one positional change, which was, of course, to bring Ona in at right back in place of Thor. What's your thoughts on, firstly, was there a massive difference? Do you think if we'd have had Ona against Chelsea that we might have seen a different scoreline, do you think, or what? So let's concentrate on the Ona change and the positional change first. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think she does make a big difference. You know, I think she's a very vital player for us. Although, I mean, we just seem to, well, certainly first off, we seem to, seem a lot sort of calmer on the ball, passed it better, created the more opportunities. Whether a lot of that was, down to Ona, I'm not quite so sure. She obviously, I think she did help us going forward. Obviously, the first goal obviously came from down the right hand side, even though it was Hayley Ladd who ended up putting the cross in from over there. But I certainly think we are we're a different proposition when Ona's in the team. Certainly.
Reasonable points. Yehuda, would you go along with that as well? How important do you think Ona was to the win against Arsenal compared to not having her for the loss at Chelsea?
Well, I think that of course she's always important, but I think that we did. She didn't have like the most powerful influence on the game. In this particular game, we had a lot of players that stepped up and played their role very good. But we are talking about it because in this season, in the first 3 games, Ona was involved heavily. She was assisting. She was putting in a lot of crosses. She has a very, very important part in the team. But of course, we need a lot more dominant and influential players like her. So if she is missing, then someone else can give her a contribution. But yes, you can see that when she plays, there is a different dynamic. There is more movement. She moves the ball a lot more quickly and a lot more smoothly. Of course, there is a good understanding between her and some other players in defense and with the link to midfield. So yes, she's a very, very important player, but we always want to have a lot of important players that we can ask this question about anyone. But yes, we definitely felt that she was there against Arsenal. We felt that she was there on the pitch and she had an important part. As always, Ona will never have a game that she's gone missing. She's a very important player, but inside a team that is functioning well, it's even a bigger advantage to have.
Absolutely. And Shane, you've seen here, you see a big difference in the attack when Ona plays. The game as a whole was good from everyone. I said all the way through Ona's absence and Thor's inclusion, there's nothing wrong with Thor defensively. I don't think any of us are really, too worried about having her in defence. It was just that attack, really, wasn't it? And the width that Ona does give us and the bombing on, the overlap, that sort of thing that Thor couldn't really provide us with because that's not really in her wheelhouse at the moment. Would you agree that that's pretty much the case, Shane?
Yeah, I would. It's Honor gives you an attack on one side, but then that also obviously means you've got Hannah on the other side who will also get forward. So you could argue you've got 2 extra players going forward. When Honor's out, Hannah's moved to accommodate that position, so you keep your right hand side dynamic going, or left, whichever side we're moving her to cover for Honor, but then you don't have it on the opposite side of the pitch. So then there's becomes, for argument's sake, let's say Honor's playing right, she's out, so Hannah goes to the right. There's then more onus on Leah doing a lot more work on the left-hand side on her own than having that overlapping play with her. So I think it's a perfectly valid point to say, with Honor out, you lose a bit of your attacking dynamic. She's that kind of player.
Okay. So we sort of covered the change that was in the position, but what about the tactics? And Sarah's put in here, I think the goals were focused till final whistle. They showed more intensity. Against Chelsea, we dropped concentration towards the end. We certainly had a 10-minute period where we just basically invited Chelsea onto us, that's for sure. And within that, we lost a couple of goals. John, do you think there was major tactical differences between the 2 games? Do you see anything that Mark Skinner did differently there?
The only thing I perhaps noticed was that we seemed to, want to get the ball forward a bit quicker in the Arsenal game. We were getting it up into the wide positions and sort of driving forwards sort of every opportunity. Whereas I think in the Chelsea game it was a bit more sort of slow and a bit static in the midfield. So I think I did notice an improvement there for the Arsenal game, and just generally overall the passing was a lot sort of quicker, sharper, just a lot more intensity and a lot more dynamic down the wings, I think.
Shane, where would you go with this one on tactics? Do you think Mark really showed any major differences within the two tactics?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say major differences, but I just think it was our approach. I think we played Chelsea way too much respect. We to a degree acted like the underdog a little bit. We stood off them. We let them have the ball. The press wasn't quite there. Whereas you look at how we played against Arsenal, we didn't want to let them breathe. And that's not just the midfield, although the midfield was absolutely key to that. But that was every single player on the pitch. We also get the ball, we're hounding them. And even when we're 3-2 up and we're counting down the seconds until the ref should be blowing the whistle, and then they're not giving up. They're not giving Arsenal an inch of room to breathe. We're keeping it in the corner. So I think it was, whether it's mentality or just attitude towards the two games, I think that's probably the biggest difference.
Okay, just seeing this one pop in here. How do I catch up and watch the ladies' live games? Tired of watching clips and just reading pre and post analysis of the games. There's a few ways I can think of. Obviously, if it's live, you can usually watch it again. So if it's on BBC, you usually see it on iPlayer. If it's on Sky Sports, you can record it, that sort of thing. Job number 2 is that you can perhaps watch the Women's Football Show. There could be something there. And I've got no idea where you live, but the other option is to come along. It's great fun, and we are all very friendly people, except for Shane. He can sometimes be a little bit angry and shout in your ear. I jest. I very much enjoy standing next to Shane. It makes my day. Yehuda,
probably not wrong, though.
Well, there's one point where you did actually deafen me in my left ear. I was like, wowzers. It was right in the microphone, that one. But, Yehuda, tactics-wise, did you see any differences in the two games there?
I don't think so. I think that the difference was maybe more in the opposition that we came against. I think that we are still in a position that we, in the big games, we wait to see how the other team plays and how the other team sets up. I think that against Chelsea we were a little bit, like Shane said, giving them too much respect. Maybe just more cautious, more waiting to see what is Chelsea approach to the play. I think against Arsenal, I think the players smell blood. They saw that Arsenal defense is weaker than, not weak like in, of course they still have decent players, but they saw that they can have some joy. And also the key was in midfield, that against Chelsea we came against a very good, solid, quick midfield that we didn't found the way to get past it when we attacked. We did come unstuck and mainly used the long balls, or we had a very, very tough time creating chances against Chelsea because they controlled the midfield. And against Arsenal it was a different story, and Skinner I guess recognized that, and we saw that we were very dominant in midfield. Zalem and Ladd played a very, very
Oh, well, with that, he's left us. He's had a drama. So I'm sure as the pros say, we'll try and get Lanzel back on the line. Not Lanzel, Yehuda back on the line. I was just looking at Yanzel's name on there. Goodness me, what a 2 minutes that was. But there we go. Listen, yes, they did sang. They've been trying for ages. And they finally got one of us. So there we go. Yes, what has happened to Yehuda? Never mind. Right. We'll press on. I'm sure he will be back with us shortly. And it was actually one of Sang's points that I ignored briefly because I felt it started this conversation off a bit better. And he said it was this one here. He felt the attitude was the more important difference. He didn't think at any stage in the game against Chelsea that we thought we could win. Whereas the game against Arsenal, we wanted it more. So the question I've got really for you, John and Shane, whichever order you want to take it in, is do we have this mental block against Chelsea? Were we in a situation where as soon as we conceded that first goal, we were never likely to get back into it because mentally we just don't feel like we're at their level yet? What do you think?
I don't. We've always seemed to play better against Arsenal than we have Chelsea since we got promoted. I'm not quite sure what it is. Whether it's just whether our style seems to suit more against Arsenal than it does Chelsea. But we always seem to the games have been a lot closer. Whereas obviously against Chelsea we have conceded a lot more goals against them. So I don't know if it's whether because Arsenal have got a few missing at the moment, but like the performance, or certainly the first half and the last 10-15 minutes against Arsenal was really good. I don't know if it's just whether we whether there's just like say that we've just got that bit more lack of belief or intimidation when we play Chelsea, but it just seems that Arsenal, we just seem to cause them a lot more problems.
Yeah, I think I'd agree in a sense as well, and I think Arsenal, we kind of ended up making Arsenal look a bit like Chelsea made us, where okay, they got the lead back, but then we've equalised and they've gone to pieces, and we've dug a winner out of it. But it's I don't know what it is. Maybe we're just too desperate for a win against Chelsea because they're like the only one we haven't got a win against yet. We've beaten City in the cup. We haven't beaten them in the league, so that there is that one. But we have beaten them. We've never beaten Chelsea, and that probably does play into it a little bit.
I think it's interesting. I mean, Connor seems, this is Connor, by the way, whenever we put All for United WFC there, it's a good job he was on that particular account and not his usual at Connor Roberts account. Otherwise, I'd have been forced to take some form of ninja action briefly online, which I've never done before. So that would have been fun to have seen if that had actually worked. But never mind. He thinks it's a mental block. He says we've had two managers now at different lineups and still struggled. Did we not play Chelsea under... Oh, yeah, with Casey, yes. So she didn't do quite as well either. Is it that there's different managers? What's the difference? Because if there's two different, does that make it? I don't think that makes a difference having two different managers. At the end of the day, Chelsea are Chelsea, and at the moment they're the top team to beat. So although I can see there might be a mental mountain there to climb, Mark Skinner seems like the sort of person to me that, almost like Ollie Solskjaer said, mountains are there to be climbed. I feel like that would be the way that Mark Skinner would look at it. Not, oh my God, how do you get up there?
There's two different styles of play there, isn't there? Casey maybe would be a bit more defensive, and that's not a discredit to her, but she was a defender in her playing career, so that's kind of the way she's brought up to play football, so she's got that sort of mindset. The big difference is Chelsea's quality. You look at the quality they have, and even when they've got what you would call a key player missing, look at who they bring in to replace that key player. How Emma Hayes keeps all those players happy in that squad, I do not know, because we've got players in our squad we can't keep happy. Because they can't get minutes.
Keep a squad happy though, if they know they're fighting for the title, as opposed to and
Maybe.
hopefully making it to the top 3? Or
Maybe it plays a part in it. I guess it depends what that player wants from it. You know, if they've come in and they're told you're not a starter and they're happy to accept that, then you know they can't really have any complaints, can they? And all that matters for them is that they take their chance when they're given it. But yeah, Chelsea's quality's got to be one of the key factors. But as I said before, 2 managers, 2 different styles of play. Since we've been under Skinner, there's been a lot more goals in games versus Chelsea. Admittedly, most of those are the ones we've conceded. But under Casey, I think we had 2 1-0 losses, both from penalties, and we had a 1-1 draw and a 2-1 loss. So, yeah, style of play maybe. Mark Skinner's always said, you know, he doesn't want to particularly worry about what the other team are going to do. He wants the other team to worry what we're going to do. Whether we see evidence of that against Chelsea yet, I don't know. But let's hope we'll get there, because I think we're overdue a win against them.
absolutely. And I've got to be honest, saying I don't know what mental image I've put into your mind. Part of me wants to know, and part of me just wants to say, good, enjoy it. Yehuda, nice to have you back. Sam was very worried about you. He thought you'd been taken away, but all was well. We knew he was fine. Feel free to finish off what you were saying, but also add to that. Do you feel there is a mental block against Chelsea? Do you feel like we just can't get past them in our minds, let alone on the actual pitch?
Well, maybe because how we think about opponents, how we think about games is how we set up in the game, how we approach, how we come to play. So if we are waiting to the opposition to be the initiator, it's tough. And also, I think we just haven't found a way in the past year and a bit. We haven't found a way to handle Chelsea. Not the strong midfield that they have, and also the defense. And we didn't help ourselves that we tried again to play out from the back against Chelsea. The same way that cost us dearly in that 6-1 that we don't want to remember. So yes, Chelsea, I think, are the best, are the strongest team in the league, and I don't think that the gap should be that big, but it's. But to answer your question, I don't think that it's mainly a mental block. It's just it's also to find a good tactic solution to deal with them, and yes, also to have a little bit more courage, a little bit more bravery, and of course with sense. Yeah, not to go all out. It's still Chelsea, but not to give them so much respect, and see where are the areas that we can hurt them in the next games, and of course not to do the same mistakes over and over again. But I don't think it's just a matter of a mental block. I don't think that players have that kind of thinking pattern that oh no, we can't beat this team, because if you are good enough and you get the confidence through the other games, then you will come to the game and try to play again. And that's the key, to play again, to be sensible. But I think we'll get there. Against Arsenal, we saw that we saw in that game that we had a positive attitude, and that is a step in the right direction. It's something that we haven't achieved before, beating Arsenal away. in a game that we showed our powers. So hopefully against Chelsea it will come as well, but I don't think that our team has any mental blocks or mental problems. It is a little bit an issue of a slight more confidence in this particular games against Chelsea, but I think it's coming. If we did that against Arsenal, I think that also this will come. But definitely Chelsea, it's a hard nut to crack.
Yeah. So it sounds like we're thinking there might be something psychological there, but not necessarily a big old mental wall that's been put there by, I don't know, Donald Trump or somebody like that. Here we go. Look at this. 12th of March is our next game. And yes, saying that is 4 days before my birthday. So if you really, really care about me, you'll have a chat with Emma Hayes and you'll arrange it for them. That should be our first win. If you could sort that out, that would be lovely. I did want to say, though, it's an interesting question, this one, Shane. What do you think? It says, what do you reckon Liverpool's mentality was when they beat Chelsea? And then she goes on to say, because we can't seem to beat Chelsea yet, although they have the depth, Liverpool have just been promoted and beat the best team. What do we, I mean, I don't know if anybody knows, if anybody was watching the Liverpool game or has seen that, but is there a chance that there's a different approach from Liverpool, that they just didn't care and just gave it a go because what have they got to lose? Or could there even have been a bit there from Chelsea where they were thinking, do you know what, actually, it's only Liverpool, they've only just come up, we don't have to worry about them too much. Could there have been a bit of complacency there that wouldn't be there against us?
I wouldn't say complacency. It was first game of the season, and ultimately I think that's probably just what it was. It was the first game of the season. Liverpool have just come up. You know, they've got a point to prove. They want to stay back in the league now. They've got back up after being relegated. I also just don't think Chelsea were at it at all that day. I think even Emma Hayes said, you know, they could have had however many more shots and they wouldn't have scored because they just couldn't hit anything with any accuracy. So I think Liverpool just caught Chelsea on a bad day for Chelsea, and we probably seem to catch Chelsea on a bad day for us. Not to say that we play awful or anything like that, just that Chelsea seem to turn up and go, yeah, we're gonna give you one here.
Okay. And another quick question that I had for you as well, Shane, was I was intrigued watching the game myself as I was stood there, because now that I look back at it, you know, once I take some of the emotion out of it now and all the joy and everything that came with it. To me, it kind of felt like when Arsenal scored, obviously they took the ascendancy, they had the game then, and I felt like we were out of it for large portions of the game. We didn't really look like we were going to do anything until we got that free kick, and that sort of turned it around. And I suppose really the question is that the case, or have I just missed out vast swathes of what was going on in the match?
No, I think there's an element of that, and more so when Arsenal went 2-1 up, because you know how many times we've been there before. We've had a lead, we've let it drop, and then they've took the lead, and we're just sort of having flashbacks. We're going, you know, here we are again. And what you can't deny is the quality of the ball that was put in the box for their second. But what you can argue is why is their fullback allowed to run that far into the box and not be picked up? There's absolutely no way she should be getting on the end of that cross at all. But she did, and that's where we're all there thinking, yeah, concentration's gone, we've bottled it, you know, all that. But then to see the fight, that was the biggest difference in that situation. We don't typically do well when we're behind, do we, in terms of coming back and winning a game? So to go there on that, and I would have said it to you at the time, Barry, I think the fact we had that away end and the fact that we were so vocal, we were frustrated, we were probably angry at the time as well, because we don't want to see us lose another game in that fashion. So we're willing them on, we're doing whatever we can to try and have an influence on the game and the performance. And it's cliche, but I genuinely think they fed off it. You know, when Tooney does however many interviews they want to do with Tooney, and she says the phrase, they're our 12th man or 12th player, there is credence to it, because you look at the way they all come over and celebrate after scoring the winner. There's legs in it, and you know this is why we push for things like away ends, because they have an impact.
And it was such a big thing. I mean, John, were you watching at home?
Yes, I was. Yeah, I was watching on Sky. Yeah.
How loud was it watching on the tick? Because it was loud for me, but then it would be because I'm stuck at the back with hearing aids and behind all the people that are singing. So it does sound very loud to me. But did it sound loud on the TV? Did it sound like it was more than what the Arsenal fans were singing? What was it like at home?
Yeah, you could hear the United fans, you know, singing pretty much throughout the whole game. It's obviously it's nothing like being there, of course, but you know, you could certainly tell where all the noise was coming from, and you know, when the 2 goals went in at the end, you know, you could hear the roar was just incredible, really. You know, nothing like you'd ever expect to hear, you know, on a women's game until sort of nowadays. Now that the proper away ends are coming in, it was a real spectacle.
In fairness, we didn't have much to compete against in the stands, did we? Because Arsenal just wanted to do a little flashy light show with their phones.
Not until they took the lead. Once they took the lead, they started trying to get a bit cocky, didn't they? And that came back to bite them in the bum. And Mark, I mean, I've got to say, come on, bro. I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said it sounds loud. So, you know, there's a bit of a difference there. And I don't often get it, you know. It's like the loudness, especially when I take the hearing aids out. And the one time where I perhaps would have had people cheering me on, didn't really happen. I was on a holiday on Turkey, and we had this great swimming pool, and they had a goal, a really tiny goal that they put on there, and you had to get onto a surfboard and then jump off and head the ball into the goal. And well, my big fat frame just weren't having none of it, so I got up onto the surfboard, went backside over, head over heels, straight into the water. Got onto it again 3 times. I fell off that surfboard 3 times. By now, there's a crowd watching. They're all absolutely wetting themselves with laughter. I'm refusing to give up because I've got a family watching, and there's no way that's happening. When I finally got onto the surfboard, I said, "Just throw the ball." And I jumped off, and it's the best header I've ever done. I don't do many at 5'2", but he put it at just the right height, straight into the goal. And I still didn't hear all the cheers. Apparently, it was like Wembley. The world went absolutely mad, but I was under the water, so I didn't hear nothing. So it's a hard life being deaf. It really is. Do you think that noise made a difference, John? Shane said it did. Do you think that was part of the thing that spurred that team on to go and get it? Because all the noise was down their end as well while they were shooting.
Yeah, obviously, I think it probably definitely helped with us attacking that end in the second half. And, you know, I think you could tell by the way when Russo scored that, you know, her first thought was to go straight to the fans to celebrate. So you could obviously, it was obvious that it was in their mind through the game that, you know, they knew that the fans were galvanising them, I think. So, yeah, it was just perfect. That was how they all ran over to the away end when the 3rd goal went in.
For sure. And Connor has apparently been showing his nan the Arsenal vlog, and she genuinely asked if I was Mark's brother, and Mark has swiftly denied those rumours. His press officer has immediately come out and said there was no truth to those rumours. And if we were, yes, you are the good-looking one, absolutely, and I'm the funny one. So that's, you know, had to have something, didn't I? And the sense of humour might be it. But this is absolutely spot on. Closest thing, you know, we get to a men's away, and it was by far the best football game I've ever been to, and no saying we are not. So there we go. It's been a tricky old couple of weeks, and I think we shall leave Arsenal and Chelsea at that point. And I suppose I'll go around with one last question on it, which would be Chelsea the 12th of March. It's away. It's at Kings Meadow. We'll start with you, Yehuda. Do you think we'll win it?
Oof.
I know it's a long way away, and there's lots of things that could happen. There's lots of changes, but based on how we've been, do you think we're in with a shout, or is it another Millering?
No, we definitely have a chance. Of course, you need some fields to go with you in that particular day. But yeah, I think we have enough to put up a really good fight, and if we will continue to build confidence and win games like City away in a short while, then definitely. But talent-wise and tactical, we have the tools, but just maybe need to be a little bit more brave, to come to a game like that with the attitude that we are going to surprise a few people today. That this is our day, and yes, we can do it. We definitely can do it.
John Neville, what do you think?
Yeah, we're definitely capable of getting something there. I mean, we when we played there, end of last season, first half performance was great, and obviously went in front at half time, and obviously it all sort of fell apart second half. But we seem to have these spells against them where we play well, but there just seems to be this thing where every opportunity they seem to get against us, it ends up in the back of the net. So we've just got to sort of defend probably better in these little spells against him, and if we do that, then I think we're definitely capable of getting a draw down there at the least.
Do you agree with what Mark's just put here, Shane? And if so, where do we get the green?
The pitch, of course. Don't be silly, Barry. No, yeah. Look, of course we can beat them. We've got to beat them at some point. So why not now? It's as simple as that. We're always going to back our own team. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. I'm not going to say we're going to go there and absolutely walk all over them, but we can win.
There we go. All right. Well, it seems quite unanimous, and I've got to be honest, I think we are going to win.
I do have one question though, Barry, because I saw Sang's comment quoting a movie. So what I just need to know is, what is that film called, and where can I download it?
That is blatantly from Chicken Run. It's got to be. I can't think of any other, but I've got no idea. If you know, stick it in the comments. It sounded like a great quote. I thought it was brilliant. I couldn't tell you which it's come from. Not a clue. So if anyone knows, whack it in the comments so that Shane can download it later. Right. You might be aware, you might not be aware, but the World Cup's on at the moment, which is it's rubbish. I'm not really fussed about it in the slightest. But what I am bothered about is the fact that here at All for United, our men's channel's on a bit of a break. It's having a holiday with its feet up in the sun. And obviously, they're not talking about stuff because they're on holiday. It's on a break. But it's like Ross and Rachel. But here on WFC, we're nothing like that. And something rather massive could be in the offing. And I feel like we need to bring that up somehow. Obviously, the Glazers have put it out on the official airwaves that there could potentially be a sale. But this is the women's channel. We're not here to talk about the blokes. I want to know, if we were to be taken over, what sort of changes do you think we might see on the women's side of things? Do you think there could be more money available potentially? What are your hopes for a takeover? That somebody's going to come in and put more money in, maybe more training facilities? What would be your wish list, I suppose, almost, for if we did have somebody come in and take over from the Glazers? What particularly could we be looking for? So basically, how do you feel it's going to go? Yehuda, what's your thoughts?
Oh, okay. Definitely, it will be better for the women, for the men, for everyone. We know that
I can't believe that was the film. Sorry, it wasn't Far Off a Chicken Run. Blinking G.I. Jane with Demi Moore. I've seen the film. Can't believe it. Carry on, Yehuda.
We can talk about movies. That's okay. Anyways, yes, of course it will be better. It has to be. Any new owner that will come will definitely do better than this lot. Just having to talk about them makes my face red. But yes, we know that there was lack of investment in the club as a whole, and I think that the fans of the women's team, we felt that there was definitely room for more investment, for more facilities, for more help to the women's team. All the talk about inadequate facilities that were, and that's something that potentially will not happen, because I believe that every new owner will come with a desire to show and to prove that he wants to do things right, at least at the start. And I don't believe that we will get such, I don't want to swear, but beep owners like these ones. So yes, more quality facilities, more tools around the team, and yes, maybe one or two like world-class players that will take us to the next level, to the highest level in the women's game, because that's where we want to be. I think that maybe we feel that we should have been closer now, because this club has the ability to make those steps. We don't need like massive changes in the team, but like Chelsea did with Sam Kerr or Pernille Harder, like one or two world-class players can turn the team into a really good machine, because we have a very good squad, very good talented players, a squad that is very jailed, very good together, very coordinated. So maybe one or two additions, and we can go to the next level, because that's what we want. We don't want to like every season to keep asking if we will get third place or not, if we'll get Champions League or not. We want that the question from the start will be, will we take the title? And if any club have the means to do it quickly, then it's us. And in the first 3-4 years of our existence, we did a jump very quickly. We did we maybe did the process faster than we initially thought, but now we're in a position that we can capitalize even further and to go up a level. So with another investment, which hopefully will come with a new owner, yes, I think we can do that step up and be a leading force in the women's game.
Let's hope so. And John, Mark said there could potentially be 10 billion. How much have you got that you can put in? And the first one. And secondly, what's your thoughts? What do you want to see out of all of this?
Yeah, I think I might be a few quid short there, unfortunately. But I think certainly from an investment point of view, be looking at the like a new training facility, like a dedicated training facility for the women's team, and possibly also looking at maybe like a new stadium that's closer to Old Trafford would probably be high up on the list, as well as obviously you know, the renovation that's needed on Old Trafford as well. So yeah, I think that's
the City Stadium, maybe something like the City Academy Stadium.
Yeah, maybe something like that that's sort of next door or close by for like the academy and the women's team. That would be a lot better if we could do something like that. Obviously, the logistics of it are quite difficult, but fingers crossed that it'll materialise at some point in the future. And yeah, obviously, probably all the training facilities is probably the other main sort of priority at the moment, where we've sort of like fallen behind in recent years.
For sure. And Connor, let's be honest, that's not worth anything, really, is it? That's not going to do too much. You're chipping in your bag of cutlery, but yeah, again, you can still eat your chips with your fingers as well. And frankly, some of the revelations that have come out about Connor today with his eating habits, I've just got.
That's
I've got no
trouble.
words. I've never seen
He's
anything
using
like
to
it.
do that. He needs a knife and fork to do it with, doesn't he?
I'm getting a chip on my shoulder. It's starting to annoy me.
Stay away from the knives and forks, Barry. Connor's about.
It's just unreal. But there we go. Shane, we've spoken briefly about this situation here, but I've got to say, we've mentioned before on different shows, like if you stick 5 million in the women's game, that's going to make quite a bit of a difference compared to other clubs. We're talking about a potential up to £10 billion takeover potentially. That amount of money to be put into the women's game, in the grand scheme of things, based on the numbers we're talking about, not much really, is it?
No. But also it's huge for a team that will be operating with a budget that's probably nothing near that. Or it might be, we don't know what the budget is, but when you're hearing that record fees are in the hundreds of thousands, and for men's players, record fees are in the hundreds of millions, it shows you where the gap in finance is in this side of the game. So, no, 5 million out of 10 billion is absolute pocket change for someone who can afford that money. But to any club in the women's game, that's changing money. That's not pocket change. That is changing. It's a big sum for that matter. I think where I'd stand on any, call it new ownership, I would want someone to come in who's going to listen and not necessarily come in and just go, here's the size of my wallet, and just throw it at problems, because that's putting plasters over plasters that are, you know what I mean? Like, it's not fixing the issues, it's just covering them up more and making things look a bit shinier. So I would want someone to come in who's going to listen to what the issues are and listen to what investments needed. And obviously I speak coming from the women's side point of view. Did I need a new stadium? Did I need additional training facilities? What investment did the women's team need? But I would want those who are involved within the women's team to feed into that. So the players, the manager, Polly, those who are involved operationally, what at the moment is limiting them doing what they want to do for the women's team, and could a new ownership or this extra investment, could that help solve those problems?
Absolutely. And fair points, everyone. I think that's really all we want, isn't it? Is someone to come in and care. And I think, I can't remember who it was who put it, but it shouldn't be too hard to find. I think this was the one. I couldn't agree more. Just someone who cares about the whole club, not just the men's side. The women's side have the potential. Just be willing to invest and back them more where they can. And honestly, if they do, I feel like these girls are going to, certainly help them to get it back. To the money that's put in for the women's game, I can see easily coming back to the owners and with more. The cutlery's gone absolutely mad once again. This is worse than pineapple on pizza. Your cutlery should not just go down in history. I quite agree with what the bro's got to say here. Should just go down the dustbin. Just put it down. Put the cutlery down and step away from the burger, because you don't deserve it. Don't encourage him. Don't do it. It's not priceless. He shouldn't have had it in the first place. You don't use cutlery for a bag. This guy, I'm sorry, we're going to go there. He says that he buys a McDonald's, gets the takeaway cutlery and brings it home and still uses it. Use a McDonald's, for goodness sake. They're already the greasiest, sweatiest burgers you're ever going to find, are you? No, let's get the cutlery out. He even has it for barbecue ribs. Scrapes it off. He's a heathen. A heathen. I tell you, in Stone Age times, he'd be dead. He wouldn't have survived. What would he have done then? Oh, no, you know, touch with those. No.
He'd have carved a knife and fork out a piece of wood, wouldn't he?
He would. He'd have only been alive in Roman times when he had somebody there to sort of dangle it over his mouth and feed him. Otherwise, he was in right trouble. It's just hi, Titus. You're coming at the wrong time here, I'm afraid, pal. But there we go. And yes, we do take the mickey out of you now, and you made it even worse. But the question that everybody wants to know right now on this one, cheese and Marmite, that's what he's asking us. Cheese and Marmite and a sandwich, is that acceptable? I said maybe with melted cheese.
Specifically together, he's saying as well,
Yeah,
not separate.
Cheese and Marmite together. So there you go. There's your food question for today. Let's throw that one out there and see what you guys have got to say. This is it. Best way to eat a burger, what, with a knife and fork? If it does, then you and I are going to have to part ways on that one, I'm afraid. So there we go. He was watching the Brazil game. Don't know if it was any good. But there we go. I'm screenshotting this. It's outrageous. What is happening here? Marmite and apricot jam.
No! No!
What is that? I thought I hadn't seen that. But I don't know.
Sounds on the wind up here.
It's got to be. Like,
No place on earth is that serious in any way, shape, or form. No.
That's absolutely done me.
Even
he's like, what now? Excuse me.
You know it's bad if Connor's questioning it.
Oh my God. Well, that's a whole new level. Connor has all of a sudden.
I'm in shock.
Wow. Well, this has got the potential to be derailed. So let's bring it back in. I've got two more questions that I'm going to throw around there. Obviously, there's been a lot going on about Ronaldo leaving us. And goodbye is really all I've got to say to him. But it did get me thinking, because a load of people have been talking with regards to this this interview. Has he tarnished his legacy? And my question would be, who do you feel at Manchester United at the moment in the women's game has carved out the biggest legacy so far? I feel like I know where the answer is going to go. I'm not sure, though. Hence why I'm throwing it out there. Which one of the United women's players would you say has created, and if the game stops now, would have left the biggest legacy since 2018? I appreciate it's only 4 years, but which one would it be? We're going to go into that one. I'm also going to get you to be thinking about my next question. Connor doesn't know anything about this, so this will be a surprise for him. But I've been having a little think, what can I do this year? And I've decided that we here at Manchester United, after the success, at Manchester United, if I'm at the official one, at All for United, need to find the Manchester United Christmas number 1. After the success of the away end, which song that is currently sung by the Man United women fans is the best song? And I thought, what better to do than to have ourselves a cracking little one vote each on our favourite song. So I will be doing that. I'll be taking some little notes down and things like that, and we will unveil at Christmas the All for United Christmas number 1. If you're incredibly lucky, we might get some people on to sing it. And if you're unlucky, I'll do it. So we'll see how it goes. That might stop you from taking part. I don't know. But John, quickly over to you. Who's got the legacy?
Well, the one that's sort of first came into my mind, I would say, would be Alatoon. With obviously been there from the start, most appearances, and obviously broken into the England squad last couple of years, and scored vital goals at the Euros, obviously that they won. So I would think I'd say it'd have to be Alatoon.
Toon. Okay. Yehuda.
Yeah, of course. Also for me, the first one that came in mind was Ella Toon, because she is one of those that is with the team from the start and has a big impact on the team on the field of play since her first days, pretty much at the club. So you have to go with her. I think alongside Zelem, she's the one that is most recognized, I think, with the name Manchester United woman. So I think, yeah, we'll go also for Ella Toon, number 7. I hope it doesn't mean that we will see an interview from her in the end of the season saying she has no respect for Skinner or something like that. But no, she definitely won't do that.
You should be all right there. Got until, I don't know, 2097, I think was the latest contract extension, so we should be all right.
Yeah, she is with us. She is with us. Yes, yes. Yeah, also the fact that she signed the contract extension and she's staying with us. She's basically like, for us, it feels like homegrown, feels like one of us, one of the team. And of course, an excellent player, excellent talent on the pitch. So definitely she's in the highest status, maybe.
There we go. That's 2 votes for Tunaldo, shall we say? Is it going to be 3?
Toonie.
Where you going, Shane?
I think Tooney's one of them, as is Ellen. Another one I would add into the mix is Millie Turner, who I just think has been so committed to us, and had that phase from the first season in the Championship to I can't remember what time of year it was, but she had that incredible run of games where she played every single game, every single minute, didn't miss one until an unfortunate injury, ruled her out of one and came off early as a sub in the next one or something like that. So, but yeah, she's one of the originals. She's still here. You can see what kind of performance she delivers on the pitch. So I would certainly add her name into the mix.
The bro agrees. So there we go. It was a good shout. I feel like Earps has got a bit of a shout in there as well. There's a few that are carving out, and if they stay a bit longer, they really do. I feel have got that ability to really be, not that they're not already, but something incredibly special in United fans' hearts. Is there a song for Earps? Yes, 2. We've got Mary Earps' Baby, Mary Earps' Whoa, 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 or the one that some people don't sing, which is England's number 1. So there we go. And Joe agrees. Millie is also a great pick. So there we go. And excellent on social media. Makes me chuckle all the time. The stuff she throws on there, I've got to say. So we've had a few votes so far for our Christmas number 1. If you haven't got yours in yet, get it in. You've got plenty of time, though. Christmas isn't for a while. So we will keep banging this drum as we go through. But hopefully that's giving you 3 a bit of time to have a think about your song. So, Yehuda, I don't know quite how much of the music you pick up from Bonnie Israel, but let's see. Do you have any songs in particular that you enjoy? And yes, Mark, it was you, but I wasn't going to name you. But as you've done it yourself, I feel less shame.
I think Haley Ladd song.
Which one? The 12 Days of Christmas one?
Yeah.
Ooh.
If any song's going to be Christmas number 1, let's just narrow it down a second. Christmas number 1 specifically. But it's also Christmas number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.
Take out the top 12. We'll end up with the top 40, which the first 12.
You always count down to 1, don't you, on the chart? So it's just the perfect Christmas song.
It's a great idea, great shout.
There we go.
It's something special. Yes, okay, then good. Right, John, what say you?
I'll go for Leah Galton's song, always
Ooh,
been
he's
my
gonna be a
favourite, I
Bolton
think.
Good
fan.
shout, though. Good shout.
It's another great song. I've got to say, I do enjoy that song. And Shane.
If right, you know my opinion on Christmas number one. If we're talking out of more regular chants, then I'm very traditionalist and I'm a sucker for the calypso.
Oh, the United Calypso. Another great one. I'm going to go with the United Calypso. Just purely because that is the song of the year type thing. But here we go. And we're doing both versions next week. Is this correct? I didn't know there was another version. I look forward to it, whatever it might be.
Oh, you know that there's two versions of 12 Days.
Okay, apparently I do. And I don't know if that's the Calypso. Is the Calypso wrong? I'm not sure. I'm guessing that's what he's trying to say. I don't know. But there we go.
He's talking about Leah's.
Ah, won't put that one up, I don't think. Great song though, John. We love it. So there we go. 6 votes in already for our Christmas number one. And I think I'm going to try and build this one up. And who knows, maybe on the last show of the year, just before, well, maybe not the last show of the year, but the last show before Christmas, we will have a countdown. Maybe. I don't know. I've got great ideas in my head. I'm going to start thinking about those and then talk to the boss. I find that's the best way to do it sometimes. But yeah, thoughts are in the head now. We'll see how we get on. So, do we get renditions of the songs by yourself? If it's wanted, we'll do it. But I do try and hang back a little bit just in case, because some people get a little bit, annoyed when I start getting.
If you value your hearing, that's not something you want me to be doing.
I don't. Not in my left ear, anyway.
This is why Barry takes his hearing aids out when he stands next to me at a game.
What? I might have to if you're going to stand behind me. That's for sure. I was worried at one point. I was like, "We scored! Quick! Where's my hearing aid gone? I can't live without that." An NHS saviour. But there we go. Wicked. Great job. We've done over an hour. And we've covered a heck of a lot. We've worked out what we think might be the difference, and we all seem quite positive about a game against Chelsea. Renditions are reward. I mean, it depends really on your thought process, doesn't it? But listen, we've celebrated the fact the Glazers might be going. We've had a little think about who's brought up the best legacy here in our team right now. We've started to think about the Christmas number one. There's not a lot happening now. We've got the Conti Cup going on. I think I'm just going to finish on that. There's no Conti Cup match for us this weekend, but we do have a couple coming up. I think we've got Sheffield United and Everton, not necessarily in that order, but we've got those 2 games. Yes or no answers, because that seems like a nice way to end. Do we think before this weekend we're in with a shout of getting through to the next round, or have we missed that particular train? John?
I'll say yes.
Yes, we've missed the train, or yes, we can make it through?
No, yes, we can make it through.
Can't miss the train. They're going on strike again.
What a surprise. Yehuda?
Yes, we'll get through.
Yes, we have a chance.
We've got a chance. Shane, are you finishing us off as a
3 for 3, mate?
3 for 3. So let's all just enjoy the Conti Cup, where there's no way on earth that's going to be proven wrong. I hope you guys all have a cracking weekend. I'm really looking forward to mine. And when are we going to be back? Let's have a think. It's nothing tomorrow. Although I know England are playing, right? I know that. But at 7:30, Connor and I might be elsewhere. So keep an eye on our personal Twitters. We might throw that one out there. We're going to go and fly the flag for the WSL on a completely different podcast. So that's going to be entirely interesting. So come and watch if you feel like it. We can have a little bit of football chat and ignore the fact England are playing. It's only America. Do we really care? They'll just finish their Thanksgiving dinner. So yeah, come and see us for that. Also, we will be back next week, I believe on Monday, where we shall be beginning the road to Old Trafford. United Road, I believe it's called. Take me home to the place where we belong, to Old Trafford, to see United. take me home. And that's where we're going to go. Thanks, everyone. See you later.